Hello and welcome back to Umineko.
Welcome.
We're back.
Hi.
Alright. Hopefully, soon, hopefully this episode will get into fun shit.
This has been pretty fun.
I mean, yeah, but you
What are
know
you
what I
talking
mean.
about?
You know what I mean.
Murders?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was the most fabulous part of the family conference. Dinner. In the past, when Kinzo had been serious about the conference, he'd taken everyone's yearly gathering for dinner very seriously. Because anything embarrassing that occurred during the dinner would cause the deepest shame for him as the host. He had given Nasui stern orders to avoid embarrassment at all costs. Because of that, she and Kraus eventually hired Goda, who had confidence in his cooking abilities. Thanks to that, they became able to serve wonderful dinners they could be confident in. But by that time, Kinzo had closed himself up in his study and never appeared for dinner. Maybe you could call that ironic. When the main dish for tonight, cat steak, was set out, Goda began to describe it proudly, further stimulating everyone's appetites.
The sauce here is Bordelaise. Of course, the red wine base I used was excellent even among those made in Bordeaux, but in addition, I prepared an original blend of this house. A blend of choice alcohol from around the world to further deepen the taste. This sauce is limited to this year. I sincerely hope you all enjoy your meal. Isn't that wonderful? However, isn't Bordelaise sauce common to French cooking? It almost seems like using alcohol from outside France, but that is heresy. Kraus-sama, today is the annual family conference, as dinner for those who normally live far away and who have traveled far from across the world to gather together. I realized it would be most fitting to have a sauce made from a blend of fine alcohols from all over the planet that have never met each other before. So I had it specially prepared.
Wonderful! A truly wonderful cook, that's what you are. Food and medicine work twice as well if you sell it right. It's already twice as delicious as normal food, and the advertising makes it twice as good as that. The taste keeps doubling and doubling.
Come on, Nissan. That question of yours was obviously a plant.
No doubt about it. You totally set Goda-san up to steal the show on that one. You bastard.
You think so? I thought there might be some people here who didn't notice that today's food was in the French style.
Just staring directly at Battler. He's just like, what the fuck?
Battler never eats French food.
Well, he's been living with his maternal grandparents
Yeah,
for
Battler
6
doesn't know
years.
shit about French food.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair. I don't really know a ton about French food either. I don't blame him. After all, Heva just said that avoiding butter was a virtue, but that's the Spanish style. Well, I guess they do share a border, right? That's not what I meant. Will you please not take a part of the conversation out of context and make stuff up?
It's a very delicious sauce. Goda-san, you certainly are amazing.
It is a great honor to receive your praise, and this is all thanks to Madame's habitual guidance.
No, it was all Goda's idea. I only listened to the recipe and proved of it. Did any of that get picked up?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll just go with
At
that.
least from my perspective.
Alright. It looked like the siblings quickly got into a loud argument about the sauce. But for the most part, dinner proceeded peacefully. However, a certain question they desperately wanted to ask burned inside each one of them. It was about that visitor, the 19th person, the Golden Witch. In actuality, Eva and Rudolph and the rest were very much on their guards during this meal. If the mystery guest was ever going to be introduced, this dinner table would be the most appropriate place to do it. However, No place was set at the table for the witch. The family conference would begin in earnest after the meal, and previous experience told them that it might last until deep into the night. However, they couldn't imagine why such a person should be kept hidden until that late, if they were going to be introduced in the end anyway. So Ava and Rudolph and the rest were starting to feel a certain suspicion. Perhaps this guest was unknown even to Kraus. If this wasn't an assassin called by Kraus to give him an advantage in the inheritance problem, then maybe they should speak frankly to Kraus beforehand, creating common front to resist anything disadvantageous to the four siblings. God. If she was Kinzo's assassin, whose purpose was to keep the inheritance from being handed over to the four siblings, the enmity between Kraus and the other siblings could only become a weak point that benefited the enemy.
Well then, please enjoy at your leisure.
When he finished explaining the reasoning behind the table setting and the cooking, Goda tried to leave the room, but Kirei called him to a stop with a small voice.
Yes, Kirie-sama. What is it? Please excuse me. I was under the impression we had company today. But can we expect to be joined at the dinner table?
She had planned on saying it nonchalantly, but unfortunately it reached the ears of Natsui, who was sitting in the next seat over. It seemed that Natsui has heard it as, even though the guests are here, why hasn't the host come to dinner? In other words, that Kirei had asked whether Kinzo was going to join them for dinner. The family head is not at his best, so he said he would take dinner in his study. I believe my husband explained that in the beginning.
I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Natsui's reaction instantly told Kirei that this unknown visitor was also unknown to Kraus and his wife. Which meant, on the chessboard inside Kirei's mind, she could hear the clattering of the pieces as they rearranged themselves. I'm just imagining three-player chess. Just fuck.
It's 4D chess with time travel or something.
Yeah.
Actually, with the way Umineko is, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, that's what's going on in Battler's head constantly.
Yeah.
Currently, as of
in the meta world,
yeah,
the smoking room.
Yeah, as of right now, Kirei is still thinking two-player chess, regular chess. But in the meta tea room, Battler is fucking 5D chess, multiverse time travel. He has like a fucking whiteboard. It's just like, no, you see, it's possible if we assume that the wind was coming from the east side at about 20 miles per hour because of the typhoon. What do you mean?
Battler time.
Huh?
Oh, Battler time.
Battler time! What do you mean we have company? I like to imagine he leans right over, like leaning on Natsuki's shoulder, like, ooh, company?
He's so silly.
Battler, who had been sitting next to Natsui, seemed to have heard Kirie's words without misunderstanding them. Thinking it strange that someone else would be invited to today's family conference, he spoke up incredulously. And thanks to that, the uncomfortable feeling building in the siblings' chest suddenly exploded. They all died. Apparently, xenomorphs are a thing in this universe.
Hold on. What?
I said, the uncomfortable feeling in their chest burst and all exploded at the same time. They all died.
I mean,
I don't
know if it's I definitely think it's a reference to something, but not.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if it was just a reference to Alien for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Also, Also, if I was in Battler's position, I would have taken it up a notch. Just like, we have a guest? We have a guest? It's just like, I would have made a huge scene about it. I think it'd be funny. Everyone looked at Goda at the same time. Judging by their reactions, it was clear that no one here had invited that mystery woman. For an instant, Goda was startled to find everyone's gazes gathered on him, but because of his naturally vain personality, this actually gave him a feeling of superiority. Therefore, he answered in an extremely calm and graceful manner.
That is correct. Our guest wanted to eat alone in the VIP room and is being served there.
The extremely graceful and reasonable response of Godos made it obvious to everyone that a 19th person, a visitor, existed. The VIP room, a guest? What? Who are you talking about? Natsui's words echoed the question that everyone who didn't know about the appearance of the Golden Witch was thinking. For a while, Godo was disoriented, caught completely off guard by this sudden interrogation. This was a guest who had been treated with such deep respect. He hadn't imagined that Kraus and his wife might not even know about her.
The guest is, Beatrice-sama. Beatrice! See? Beatrice came.
Maria had been telling the other cousins over and over again that she had met Beatrice that day. The cousins had answered flippantly, but they hadn't believed. So their eyes grew wide. Sorry. I totally thought you were joking, Maria. So she really was there. By Beatrice? You mean that Beatrice with the gold?
I've been saying she exists the whole time. No one believes.
Sorry, Maria-chan. That's not how we meant it. After learning that everyone had doubted Beatrice's existence, Maria, who had been in a good mood all day, completely lost her temper. It's just like, you stupid fucking bitches! Why didn't you believe me? Just like, oh my god, Maria.
Where did you learn that language?
George, who sat in the... Huh?
I was gonna add to it. You don't even have any friends. Who taught you that?
That's all Battler has been doing. Teaching Maria swears.
He should.
It'd be hilarious. George, who sat in the next seat over, tried frantically to calm Maria.
Hold on. Goda, is this some sort of dinner entertainment? Quite a performance.
Aniki, quit playing dumb. You called her here, right?
Called? Called whom? From where? Nissan, let's be clear about this. Who is she? Surely you aren't going to tell us it really is the Beatrice from that portrait, right? I don't have a clue what you people are talking about. Goda, you really aren't joking, right? I was just ordered by Genji-san.
Pull for Genji! Immediately! When Natsui yelled, Goda sped out into the hallway. The sound of the door being thrown open was the spark that suddenly set the dinner table ablaze. So you're saying that you're in the dark too, Aniki? Who called her? Was it Dad?
I don't know anything about this. It seems you people think I've been pulling the strings behind the scenes, but that's a huge misunderstanding.
Calm down, Kraus-Nissan. We've gone past the stage of skirmishing with each other. If you're saying even you don't know who this mystery person is, then something crazy is going on. Hideyoshi-san, can't you be a little more discreet with your words? My husband would not invite unnecessary people to the family conference.
Obviously. What are you people talking about? Are you saying the witch at the portrait is broken out of her frame? It appeared? It's not as though anyone's actually met this witch face to face.
Kyrie does like the thing from Jaws where she like scratches her nails on a chalkboard and like gets everyone's attention.
Just
like,
a random chalkboard.
She keeps a
Just
she keeps a mini chalkboard with her wherever she goes in case she needs to dramatically call attention to herself.
Yeah.
That's something Battler would do.
That is definitely something Battler would do. He's silly.
I met her. Ava and Rudolph nodded at Rose's proclamation.
I met her too. Uncle Kraus, believe it. Believe Mama.
The brief tension was broken, and Maria also started to make a ruckus. By now, the room was thoroughly wrapped in chaos. I don't have a clue what's going on. So what does it mean? Does it mean the witch who gave grandfather the gold is showing up as a special guest this year? But is that really true? Aunt Rosa didn't see it wrong, did she?
I met her too. Mm,
Aunt Rosa, are you sure? Yes. Maria and I met her, and we even talked to her. I met her. That was definitely a witch. Believe me, I definitely didn't see it wrong or hallucinate or anything. Well, now I'm thinking you're hallucinating or something. What on earth was that? Oh, God.
you okay?
Yeah, my throat just got really dry.
Uh,
In the instant before the typhoon arrived, Rosa definitely met a witch in the rose garden. But the scene had been so hard to accept as truth that the more she spoke of it like this, the less she understood what it was she had encountered. Ironically, since she was losing her composure, the more frantically she tried to cling to her claim, the more confused and hazy the thing she was describing became. Because of that, it only took a single, calmly spoken sentence to confirm the nature of what she was describing beyond doubt.
I also met with her. I greeted. Well, I couldn't really call it that. I exchanged a few words with her. It's definitely not something that Rosa-san just saw wrong.
Kirie-san, are you serious?
Yes, but she didn't tell me her name, so I can't say for certain that she was Beatrice. However, and sorry if this is subjective, but since I met her in the entrance hall, I was able to compare her face with the portrait. My first impression was that this portrait has to be hers. This is all just subjective.
That isn't possible! In the first place, where did that woman come from? The only boat arriving today was the one that brought all of you here. I don't know. A stealth boat. I don't know. There's possible for more boats to come that you don't know about.
There's possible she was already there.
That too. She could just be living on that island.
Yeah, rent-free.
Yeah, exactly. Was she
Knowing
on?
Kinzo, I wouldn't be surprised.
Was she on that boat? Well, it's hard to say for sure. Of course, I don't remember any woman like that getting off the boat with us.
Oh, is that all? Can you prove there wasn't a boat besides the one we rode on? You can't. You didn't prove one didn't arrive.
Makes sense. If another boat did arrive, it might be possible to prove it. Prove it. If someone saw it and they say they saw it, then you're done. But it's impossible to prove that such a boat didn't arrive. Even if everyone says that no boat arrived, that they didn't see it arrive, you can't prove that it didn't arrive secretly. It's that thing they call a devil's proof.
Yeah, there we go. First devil's proof
Yeah!
mention.
Devil's proof!
Or or is
Alright.
it the first mention? I don't know.
This is the first mention of this episode.
Yeah.
It'd be simple to prove that devils exist. All you have to do is meet a devil. But it's impossible to prove that devils don't exist. Just by saying that no one has ever met a devil, you can't deny the possibility that they're hiding away somewhere humans can't go. You can't deny the existence of aliens for exactly the same reason. Until humanity searches the whole of space and can show perfectly that aliens don't exist, you can't be sure that they don't exist. And it's definitely impossible for us to ever check the entirety of space for the existence of aliens. Therefore, while there may be a number of ways to prove that aliens do exist, it will always be impossible to show proof that denies their existence. So any discussion about there being a second boat would just be a waste of our time. She wasn't on the boat with us. That much is a fact, so she must have arrived on the island through some other means.
That's right. There may be no need to discuss how she came here. What's important is that she's actually in this mansion now, and doesn't feel like having dinner with us.
What a bitch! Okay.
To be fair, I wouldn't want to sit in on these people's dinners.
I absolutely do, and I just want to cause chaos.
Yeah, that's you. That's different because it's you. I got stressed out.
I'm gonna be flirting with Battler the entire time. Battler, Jessica, and Natsui. I'm just gonna be flirting with all three of them the entire time.
Like for fun or for real?
Both.
you
Okay, let's
saying
review.
you saying you'd flirt with Battler just reminds me of when you of what you did on character AI.
Oh yeah. So I downloaded Character AI because I wanted to prove a point after last time we recorded, and I wanted to like see if I could win in an argument with Beatrice. And luckily, there are a few Character AIs of Beatrice. Which, by the way, apparently all roads lead to sex. Because you start off like strong, being like, "Hey, fuck you," it leads to sex. You start off being polite, it leads to sex. You start off with an argument, it leads to sex. I didn't try
Oh,
any.
you
I
left
didn't.
out you left out one of the best
Oh
parts.
yeah, you start off with, "Hey, want to have sex?" It leads to sex. No matter what, all roads lead to sex with Beatrice. But
With Battler though,
with Battler though, I thought it would be fun to just flat out do like, "Hey, a really raunchy thing," and then that just kept going until character AI Battler confessed his love for fucking Jessica.
yeah,
It was wild. It was insane. It was crazy. Also,
it
it
was
is
really funny.
Also, for a chat bot that doesn't let you get too wet and wild, it is shockingly easy to get into horny situations. Half the time
Oh yeah.
I didn't even mean for it to happen half the time. Not even half the time, most of the time. I was just like typing. I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This is fun. I'm having doing some little funny gaffs and goofs." And then out of nowhere, it gets horny, and I'm sitting here like, "What the fuck is going on?" Okay, let's review. Right now, there's another guest on this island other than the 18 people with the Ushiromiya family. And this is a guest even Aniki and Natsui-san don't know about, right? I know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Be silent for now. Your headache will get worse. It is as my wife says. I have no idea what you people have been talking about up until now. This guy sucks. And there can only be one answer. Father called her here. Called her here for today's family conference. For the family conference, again, why?
Why? Why couldn't it just be like someone who just came by anyway? Like, why does it have to be family conference? Like, why does that have to be the reason? Like, I know it
Yeah,
is, but like, they're like really just like so self-centered. What if someone just decided to fuck with them? See, do the long con. Go in with confidence, see how far they can get, you know?
would be a pretty crazy coincidence, though. If she was just there,
Yeah, that would
not for
be
the conference.
that would be fucking hilarious.
I don't know that. I'm questioning you because I thought you might know.
Ava, could you give it a rest? Kraus Nissan said he doesn't know. So here's what we got. Father stealthily invited the Witch of the Portrait as a secret guest. And she met with Rosa-san and Maria-chan and then Kirie-san. That's all for now. If she has something to say to us, she could just show herself right away. Now we've got to wonder why she shut herself up without greeting us. Does this mean Dad, who never gave a crap about this family conference in the first place, secretly called a new mistress here, and had her wear the clothes of his ideal witch? This day's too important for that explanation to fly.
There can only be one reason. To join on the family conference. She wants to claim some right to father's inheritance.
Ridiculous! The family head wouldn't have something as filthy as a mistress.
I told you to be quiet. I've lived in this mansion with Father all this time, and I've never heard a thing about something like that. If we stretch plausibility to the limit, and assume Father had an illegitimate child with some mistress decades ago, then maybe Father searched her out and called her here today. Is that what you're trying to say?
Dear, it's absurd to think Father has such a child. To waste the noble blood of the Uchiromiya family on a mistress. This is nothing more than a few people making wild claims. It's obviously a fantasy, a delusion, a daydream. Or is everyone taking part in some kind of act to trick my husband?
It would be pretty funny if they were all taking part in a trick too. Taking part, just like they're just goofing Kraus.
Yeah, that'd be so fucking funny.
What act? If anyone's acting, it's you.
Quit it, Ariki. Natsui-san may be a bit over vehement, but she's right. Gire saw her. I didn't. Neither did you, Aneki. But Rosa did. That's right. Putting all the focus on Rosa again. That's my bread and butter. But that means she exists. There are people who can prove she exists, so we're sure right away that she does. It's the opposite of a devil's proof. And I want to meet her too. I want to ask her directly what kind of business she has with the Uchiromiya family.
I agree with you on that. I do indeed wish to inquire as to what business she has on Rokkenjima. Don't play dumb. There's only one thing she could be after. Father's inheritance. We should work out our future plans with a lawyer who's hot on inheritance issues. If the mistress claims equal rights as mother, then our shares will be cut right in half.
Wait a second, everybody. Genji-san will come very soon. He knows everything. I'm sure he'll answer our questions. Until then, let's stop talking about this. Hey, you kids! Sorry, but the adults have to start talking about something complicated. Return to the guest house. Rosa yelled at the children, slightly overcome with emotion. If I was Battler, I'd just be like leaning back in my chair, just like, nah, this shit's interesting. Finally, something cool's happening. I want to see this. I want to see where this goes. The children didn't understand why they were suddenly being yelled at this time, but Ava and the rest realized it was too late. They were talking so bluntly about the filthy topic of the inheritance right in front of the children. Of course they wouldn't want their children to remain, so they all immediately agreed with Rosa's plan. That's right, just as Rosa-san says. George, take all the cousins and go back to the guest house. You all play nice together.
George, do as you're told. Take all of the cousins and leave right now.
Wait a second, Mother. We still haven't finished eating.
And dessert hasn't even come yet.
We will have Gona-san take the dessert to the guest house, so leave. Jessica, from here on, the adults will be talking together. Go. Sir, even though I'm still eating... Coward. I'd be like just getting comfy in my seat, like, nah, I'm staying here. This seems interesting. Finally, something cool. No, if I was Battler, I'd be getting up, I'd be like, yep, alright gang, it's time for us children to walk unaccompanied to the guest house with while there's a mysterious 19th person whose intentions we don't know about.
Well, there's a witch on the island.
Yeah, alright guys, there's a witch on the island. Time to go, I guess. Time to walk alone in the middle of a typhoon. I'm sure everything will turn out fine.
Yeah. Thanks for understanding, Battler-kun. But you sure are lucky.
Huh? Why?
I'd want to leave if I could.
Yeah, just go. I bet. I'll let you enjoy I'll let you adults enjoy your happy family chat about the inheritance. I'm also getting the fuck out of here. At any rate, it appears my turn will not come tonight. Nanjo quietly rose to his feet. From his seat in the farthest corner, he had been calmly watching the whole discussion without butting in. Surely that reaction of his was very adult, just what you expect of a calm old gentleman. When Nanjo rose from his seat, it ended up encouraging the others who were supposed to leave. The children noisily rose from the seats, and as they hurried into the hallway, the servants returned.
I apologize for taking so long. I have called Genji.
I was checking to see that all the doors and windows were shut, so it took me some time. My apologies. Come on, children, to the guest house! Goda-san, my apologies, but could you carry the children's portion of the dessert to the guest house?
Huh. Is that what you wish?
It seemed Goda wasn't amused to see the dinner he'd worked so hard on interrupted like this. He sent Natsui a look as though asking her whether that was really okay. Do as Rosa-san says, and it will not be necessary to set out dessert for us. Do not approach the dining hall until we call for you. Tell the rest of the servants to do the same. Understood?
Yes. As you wish.
Come, everyone. Shall we go? Maria-san, you mustn't trouble your mother anymore.
I want to talk about Beato too. No, no, no.
Maria-chan! Could you tell us about Beatrice in the guest house? I really want to hear about the witch, okay?
Mm, mm.
You're pretty darn smooth, George Nissan. I'm impressed. Are you sure you don't have kids? I'm too used to this.
Maybe secretly.
I love the idea that George is a secret family.
Yeah.
George's word.
That'd be pretty interesting.
He has successfully romanced another woman. Like, he's successfully romanced 2 women. That's too unbelievable. Which is, yeah, I guess. But George getting pussy twice? Nah.
Well, he's not getting any pussy at all, because, you know.
Yeah. George's words had completely restored Maria's good mood, and now she took the initiative, telling the others to head on to the guest house. It looked like Goda didn't like being kicked out himself, but he couldn't disobey Natsui, so he left the room with Battler and the rest, closing the door. Is there some way I might be of service, everyone?
Oh, yeah, there sure is. We've got a whole bunch of questions. In fact, every one of us does. So much that we almost want to have a lottery to see who gets to ask first. But no matter who wins the first lottery, the first question will be the same, won't it?
That's right. Genji-san, answer me honestly. Do we have any more food in the kitchen? I'm still hungry. Who is this person?
I was wondering what you were going to think up.
You knew that was prime goof material there.
Yeah.
Who is this person called Beatrice in the VIP room right now? Who turned off the lights? I don't know why I'm so giggly.
You're always goofing.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm goofing so much today. I'm just feeling really
She let
goofy.
me hit because I'm goofy.
I'm just feeling really goofy today for some reason.
Yeah. You're so silly.
Hideyoshi's claim that advertising doubled the taste was apparently right. After being chased to the guest house, the kids and Nanjo had gathered in the cousin's room and were eating the cake that Kumasawa had brought for dessert. Wait, Nanjo's there too?
Yeah, remember he left.
No, I just think it's funny he didn't like go to his own room. He's just hanging out with the cousins. Like, hey guys, so so about so about that new hit TV show. It was both wonderful and high class, topped with lavish amounts of cream and decorated deliciously with fruits. But delicious as it was, it didn't taste quite as good for some reason. Without Goda-san selling it, it isn't nearly as good. And if we ask Kumasawa-san to sell it, she'd just say it's made of mackerel.
Really? You can make cake from mackerel?
If you try hard enough.
Absolutely. And as you can see with this very cake, if you mix the squeezed juice of mackerel with flour and eggs before cooking, it comes out all fluffy.
That'd be incredible if true. Maybe mackerel cake will show up on the new menu at one of Father's restaurants. After all, mackerel's full of nutrients and sounds healthy. It might get really popular with women and the elderly. Just women and elderly. But I'm not gonna get anywhere near it. Girls don't eat something that weird. Even the elderly would wish to decline.
But it's delicious, you know.
Kumasawa was really cheering up the mood with her classic mackerel jokes. Oh, Kumasawa. But the sound of the downpouring rain kept turning their attention towards the mystery guest. In the end, they showered Maria with questions again, since she was the only person here to have met Beatrice. I can't believe she was actually telling the truth. You make it sound like though you never believed it. This Maria meets a witch business isn't news to you. Yeah, I thought it was just one of those fairy tales you'd expect from a dreamy kid that age.
She exists. Beatrice exists.
You guys fucking suck.
Every year, when we come to the family conference, I meet her and we play together. That's right. Although Beatrice-sama doesn't usually show herself, I hear she sometimes unexpectedly appears before honest people with clean hearts.
to fucking tempt them like the snake tempted Eve. Like what the fuck? Why did you specify it like that?
I think it's funny that Rosa is an honest person with a clean heart.
Well, yeah, she keeps getting possessed by a bad witch. That's all it is. You heard Maria.
Right.
It's definitely not a little girl trying to cope with her mother's abuse. Beatrice referred to that character in the fairy tale about the Rokkenjima witch. To keep Kinzo in a good mood, the family and servants acted as though they believed in the witch of his delusions. Are you supposed to do that? I don't know. If I'd ask Danny if he was here because he had to work with elderly people a lot at one of his old jobs, but I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to like give in to delusions too much.
Well, this is
It's not a delusion in this case, but still, you know what I mean.
this is their employer who gets angry a lot.
You know what? True. That's how Rokkenjima's fairy tale, or maybe ghost story, had come into being. To the family members who knew that backstory, the fairy tale of the Golden Witch wasn't something to be taken too seriously. However, they were never able to say that out loud in front of Kinso. Because of that, the legend of the witch carried a lot more weight to someone like young Maria, who didn't know the story of how it had come into being. That's why Maria believed in the legend of the witch. She accepted it entirely. that was only natural for an imaginative girl who believed in witches. So people had avoided saying things that would betray her dream. On the contrary, they had worked together to say and do things that would help liven up her dreams without her knowing.
So when Maria-chan was showing us that candy that supposedly came from Beatrice, I figured someone suddenly slipped it into her handbag.
I have done similar things a few times in the past, secretly placing sweets somewhere. I imagine even Kumasawa-san, or rather all of the servants and everyone in the Ishirabiya family has done it once or twice. So if it'll make a small innocent kid happy, you might place a sweet somewhere and have everyone join in on keeping the secret alive for her. Come to think of it, I bet you do that kind of thing all the time, George Anarchy.
Who knows? Instead of candy, I leave little baggies of weed.
Maria's just like collecting weed.
She doesn't even know. She's not even using it. She's like, ooh, more plants.
It's so, why is this little, why are these little flowers everywhere?
Why are they so smelly? Are they for potions?
They are they're for Beatrice to smoke. They're little offerings for her.
Just like, Beatrice, you need to fucking chill out sometimes. Here you go.
Stoner Beatrice is one of my funniest, or like one of the funniest like, I guess, meta things in this game.
Yeah.
Or in this fandom. I don't know how to talk.
It'd probably be boorish to admit to such a thing out loud. George admitted it while being extremely wary that Maria didn't find out. In other words, it's kind of like Santa Claus. You hear that, Maria? Santa Claus isn't real. Just to protect a kid's dreams, the parents plot together and lie, setting presents at the bedside of a child fast asleep. After all, you want to protect a kid's dreams, right? Obviously, I've known Santa doesn't exist for a long time now, but if there's no reason to wake up from a dream like that, I wish I could have believed it all my life. Because adults know that the world is filled with terrible things. They all want to at least protect the pure dreams of a child.
Ooh, Beatrice exists. Exists.
Nothing on Santa Claus? Alright.
Yes, she does. Beatrice-sama does exist, right? Some time ago when I was drying mackerel to make some black tea, suddenly...
Well, basically it goes something like that. Supposedly, at least.
So, simply put, this was supposed to be a witch that no one but Maria believed in.
I wouldn't phrase it quite like that. The point isn't that we didn't believe. We were all trying to give her a chance to believe, man.
So, this is about not betraying a child's innocence. But Santa doesn't exist in reality.
What? How funny would it be? How funny would it be if I truly did believe in Santa until right then?
That would be really funny.
Ugh.
If you don't want kids to be all disappointed when they learn the truth, you'd be better off not showing them that dream in the first place. It's the fact that I think like this proof that I'm still a long way from becoming a full adult. The true nature of the Rokkenjima witch was finally starting to take shape in Battler's mind. However, their current situation overrode this understanding. And in fact, it completely overturned its very premise. So we thought we knew what was going on, but now Beatrice-sama, the witch, has actually appeared in reality. Is that it? And judging by how freaked out our parents were, it looks like she wasn't an invited guest. Now it's starting to get interesting.
There's no reason for us to simply assume that a woman called Beatrice doesn't exist. It's what Uncle Rudolph called the devil's proof. None of us knew that a woman calling herself Beatrice existed. But that's not the same as proving that Beatrice doesn't exist.
Dr. Nanjo, you've been friends with grandfather for a long time, right? At one point during the family conference, I was questioned quite thoroughly by Cross-san and the others. They wanted to know if, long ago, Kinso-san might have had a mistress called Beatrice and an illegitimate child with her. I get it. My parents have their heads full with the inheritance problem. So of course, if the daughter of a mistress like that showed up, it'd be troublesome for them. Gross-san and the rest probably asked Genji-san about it first. However, Genji-san is an aide who's sworn loyalty to Kinzo-san, and is probably a friend more trusted by Kinzo-san than myself. I doubt he told them anything. So next they went to ask me, as an old friend of his, who for sure has no loyalty to him. And? Did grandfather have a lover called Beatrice, Dr. Nanjo? He did. No, I have never met her. However, I've heard from Kinzo-san that he had a relationship with a woman like that. He said she passed away a very long time ago. She's dead. So did the two of them have a kid? That I do not know. But Kenzo-san always said that reviving Beatrice is the goal of his research. Usually, if one loses a mistress but has a child left behind to remember them by, they pour all of their love onto that child. Therefore, we naturally assume that there was no such child between Kinzo-san and Beatrice. So that leaves us with another devil's proof. Yeah, it's impossible to prove that a child between him and a mistress didn't exist. So now that this child has actually appeared, we have to assume she did exist after all.
That's a bit of a rushed argument. It's more realistic that someone caught wind of the trouble with the Ushinomiya family inheritance, knew about grandfather's relationship with a mistress long ago, and impersonated her, trying to take a slice of the inheritance for themselves.
Sure, that is realistic, but we can't deny the possibility that she really is an illegitimate child. One who lived in isolation, forgotten by grandfather, and who's returned for revenge, right? Revenge? What do you mean? Sorry. Guys just like to dramatize stuff to make it sound interesting. I've seen too many weird dramas. Normally that might come off as a light joke, but the joke had landed after an uninvited mystery guest calling herself Beatrice had marched in on the day of the family conference where the bloody argument that the inheritance had become took center stage. There was no way Battler's joke would be welcomed with laughter. So it was a really big help when Nanjo laughed brightly to calm everyone down. I see. That does sound very intriguing. I would love to read a novel with a plot like that. Or maybe, perhaps, a novel with some sort of visual aspect to it. And a whole lot of words in it. Maybe leading up with the most words in a piece of media. Yeah, that does sound interesting. I'm sorry. That was a stupid joke, I know.
No, don't be sorry. It was funny, but you're goofy. You're silly.
Well, I don't think it could actually work. After all, right now, on this island, there's 1, 2, 3, a full 18 people, right? If anyone tries to do something weird, they'll immediately get caught. And thanks to the typhoon, they can't even leave this island. In other words, if you try to commit some crazy crime, you'd be screwed.
I agree. In a dead end without any way to escape, and in a situation where everyone's really suspicious of her, I seriously doubt she could pull off a terrifying revenge drama like that.
Probably not. In that case, it would be more realistic if she had come in secret, without making her presence known. It pans to the meta world, and Beatrice is just like, what the fuck? I'm damned if I don't show myself, and damned if I do. I simply cannot imagine someone appearing openly to take revenge outside of some historical drama. Well, who knows, right? Revenge is based on emotion, not logic. If you got someone willing to go down along with their opponent, they might not be afraid of anything, not even the police or a large number of people.
It's okay, Jessica-chan. None of the disturbing things we're imagining will happen. It'll be way worse.
Like the battle royale between our parents over the inheritance isn't disturbing. That's right. Dad and Uncle Rudolph are pretty tough, and Aunt Ava's even trained in the martial arts. We'll be fine. Yeah. Jessica didn't say out loud, but she vaguely noticed that her own father stood in opposition to all the other siblings on the inheritance issue. They usually play nice in front of the children, but when that pretense was lifted away, like it had been at dinner, the result would be a tumultuous uproar. After realizing this, it was only natural for Jessica to be frightened at the thought that her parents might get caught up in some kind of trouble and become human sacrifices for something terrifying. Seriously, George Nike's right. Nothing's gonna happen, even if she pretends she's a witch. What can a single human woman who can't even use magic do? The sudden creepy laugh made all of them jump, and when they realized the strange laugh was coming from Maria, they were shocked again.
I see. So that's how you see it, Battler.
What is... Don't laugh all creepy like that.
You accept Beatrice's existence for now. At least you accept her as the 19th person and a guest. But that's all, right? You don't accept that the 19th person, Beatrice, is a witch, right?
Finally, we're acknowledging that the 19th person could exist and not be a witch. Huh? Of all the crazy things to say... Of course that's what I think. Witches couldn't possibly exist. The only possibility is that she's a human woman claiming to be a witch.
Hmm? Isn't that odd, Battler? That's a devil's proof, isn't it? Of course witches don't exist. But just because you've never met a witch, that doesn't mean you've proven that witches don't exist, right?
That's right. You're not wrong there. I can't prove that witches don't exist. However, even if I can't prove it, I can claim it. I can claim that witches don't exist. I claim that witches don't exist.
Why? How can you claim that witches don't exist, even though you can't prove it?
Because things like that don't exist. What a king.
So that's QED? You finished your proof without any evidence or basis? Now there's a typical case of the ignorant willfully ignoring the shallowness of their own knowledge. As reckless suspension of thoughts.
I think he should start berating the idea of witches. Just like, sorry that I don't want to believe that there's people out there lazy enough to expect demons to do the work all the hard work.
I'd find that very funny.
Like just fully just like, I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, if witches do exist, they must be boring assholes who don't do much with their lives. Just continue, just complete berating them. I think it'd be great. There's only one way to resolve this, Maria. A duel. The witches' side need to show some proof themselves. It's a devil's proof again. If you bring me a devil, we can end this right now. In this case, we can just get this woman calling herself Beatrice to display some wonderful, magnificent magic like the twinkling stars. All she has to do is show us something that it's impossible for humans, right?
Come now, you two. Please settle down.
Kumasawa noticed that the atmosphere between them was getting worse and tried to calm them. Battler's about to throw hands with a 9-year-old. It seemed as though Battler quickly realized that he wasn't acting like an adult. But Maria's expression didn't loosen. As she laughed creepily, she kept staring at Battler. You quit it too, Maria. Let's get back in a good mood, okay?
If that's what you want, Beatrice will definitely show you something impossible for humans. When she does, you'll believe too, okay?
He just looks into his eye, into the sky, and he just says, "Fuck!" It just sees "Fuck you, Battler" written in stars. It's like, oh, shit.
I wish. That would be really funny.
That do what? Do that? I'll believe in witches. If Beatrice did that, I believe in witches.
You'll believe in Beatrice.
Sure. If she lets me have a look, I'll believe.
It's a chess debate between the witch and you, Battler. If you get checkmated, you'll believe in the witch.
Ooh, I like the way you put that. The witch shows her magic. My king is put into check. I quibble, saying it'd be possible to reproduce her feat using measures even a human could take, and my king escapes. Failing to do that would be checkmate. So that's a pretty good analogy.
Battler, in chess, you and your opponent have pieces that move in the same way. So you can predict your opponent's moves. But you know what? What you aren't expecting is that your opponent's pieces might be able to move in ways far stranger than yours.
They're playing chess shogi. One side is using chess pieces, the other side's using shogi pieces, and they're using the respective
hell
moves.
yeah.
Shit, that actually kind of sounds like it'd go hard. Hold on, I need to write that down. That sounds like it could go hard, actually.
Yeah,
Chess.
that would be pretty hard to pull off.
Chess shogi. One side uses chess pieces. Other shogi. Respective rules. All right, cool. I wrote that down, so I wrote it down so I'll remember it.
You've simply assumed that, since witches must not exist, the movements of Beatrice's pieces will obviously be the same as your own. Damn it, you're right, I was thinking that.
Fuck!
But you know what? Sorry, Battler, but your chess partner isn't human. He's a witch. He can move her pieces in ways that humans can't.
I played Blue Eyes White Dragon. What the fuck? How are you doing that with chess?
I put peasant on the board.
The fuck is peasant? Is it the picture of Valor? What the fuck? How did you get that?
Right now, your understanding is flawed. Battler, you like Katie's chessboard thinking, right?
Yeah. I like that style of thinking, where you stand in your opponent's shoes.
And that's why you'll get stuck. Even though your opponent is a witch, you won't accept it. So you can't understand the moves a witch might make, and your chessboard thinking won't work. Your knowledge of your opponent is mistaken.
What Valor needs to do is, like... This is, like, the crux of, like, the final case in the first Phoenix Wright game, and I think about it constantly. It's like... Like, think about... Don't think why they took this piece of evidence, think why they had to take that piece of evidence. Like, it makes sense more in context. But like, I feel like if Battler just dug in his heels a bit more, I think he could outwit her at every step of the way. Like, he's like, oh, your knowledge of the opponent is mistaken. Joke's on you, bitch. Her knowledge on me is mistaken. I don't know what I'm doing, so how the fuck is she gonna read what I'm doing? How's she gonna read my moves if I don't know what moves I'm gonna do? Which is how I play both chess and poker. Chess, I know the rules of, but I still don't know any strategy. Poker, I'm guessing constantly.
Yeah, real. The very first premise of chessboard thinking is broken down.
Ah, so that's your game.
You cannot win in chess against a witch.
I bet I can win in chess, a game of chess with the witch. It's the photos like the smart kid wondering why he's losing in chess with me, not knowing that I'm eating the pieces when he's not looking. Like, I know you sent me one that's like
that is this game, except Beatrice is eating the pieces.
no, I think Battler would be the one eating the pieces. I think it's Battler eating
What
the
if they're
pieces.
both eating the pieces and they both think the other one doesn't know they're eating the pieces?
They're both eating pieces
I think
and have no clue that the other is eating pieces, and they're just like, how the
Yeah.
fuck?
And they both think that the other one. Oh, yeah,
Oh god.
yeah, you're right.
They're playing Cold War chess.
What is that?
It's like I got a TikTok about it. It's like a special way of playing chess where like you cannot take any of your opponent's pieces. You just have to keep you just have to keep playing until you reach an impasse, and at that point you can set up a smaller chess game with each of the sides sponsoring a different side, and that's regular chess. But even through those proxy chess games, it won't decide the winner of the original Cold War chess game until you decide the winner when one side destabilizes via its own incompetence.
That's kind of how Umineko works. Yeah, basically. I don't know what happened after that. We servants were strictly ordered not to approach the dining room.
I see. So, Shannon, have you ever met this person called Beatrice before?
I don't know.
That was a slightly odd way to say it. It didn't quite sound as if she was saying her memory was hazy.
For us servants, Beatrice-sama is the second master of this mansion. Some people say that we've spread that rumor because of the master's influence. But even when I just started working here, the story of Beatrice-sama was already being whispered of.
I've heard about it before. If you don't show her respect, you'll get cursed, and at least one servant actually did meet with an accident, right?
Yes. But it's true that some people believe more than others. I believe respect for that sort of thing shouldn't be forgotten. So I have never doubted that she exists. I vaguely believed that a shadowy being called the Golden Witch existed.
And then that witch, whose existence was so shadowy and obscure, actually showed herself and entered openly through the entrance hall. Is that what happened?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
When you brought her dinner, did you talk about anything?
No, nothing.
I see. Still, a witch that eats food somehow doesn't sound so realistic. Maybe after all, it's just someone who knows about the witch legend on this island. Someone who's taking on Beatrice's name. Oh my god! Oh, wanna know what Battler should do?
What?
Battler should pull a gumball.
And I'm not talking about the thing. I'm not talking about the video that I love so much. There's an episode of Gumball where he defeats a troll by annoying it. And he's just like, yeah, I guess I just don't really know what trolls are. I always thought like you guys wore green and like did a little dance in Ireland. Like that's a leprechaun. Like, oh yeah, trolls are the ones that like hate garlic and can't go out in the sun. That's vampires. I think Battler should start using the wrong like fairy tale myths to refer to witches.
That would be pretty great, yeah.
I think you've probably come to respect Beatrice and think of her as something like a guardian god of the mansion. So when a person appeared actually going by that name, maybe you were a little disturbed.
That's right. I guess that must be the case.
George was slightly at a loss at what to do about Shannon's downcast appearance. Maybe not just Genji, but even the youngest servants have been ruthlessly questioned as to whether they knew anything about this Beatrice person. Think that he tried to cheer her up somehow. Surely, just like Maria and Jessica, Shannon was unable to fully hide the agitation caused by the sudden visit of this person calling herself the Golden Witch. He'd been so sure that was the case, but George probably had no way of looking into Shannon's heart. Did he say probably? He probably didn't. He might, but probably not.
Yeah.
Shannon was bitter and sad. The door to the Golden Land would be opened. The witch had definitely told her that. That meant the demise of everything. Even if she accepted the ring from George, they would never be married now. No, in the first place, did furniture like her even have the right to be married? Even if the witch hadn't come to signal their demise, wasn't their relationship fated to fail sooner or later? Has she turned her gaze to focus solely on those fun days spent with George while purposely closing her eyes to the sad reality?
What's wrong? You really haven't looked well for a while now.
George-san, what does it mean to be engaged?
In battle? Huh?
It means making a promise to marry. But I think in that sense it means the same thing as marriage. To be honest, I want to take you home as my wife right away.
But right now I'm in the middle of training and I'm still a long way from having the capacity to create my own castle. That's why I want to take you home with me with my head held high. Only after I become a full adult. I'm 23. I'm not talking about the distant future. I just want you to wait a short 3 years. When I'm 26
And you're 18. Oh, hey!
then it'd be legal.
19.
19, sorry.
But that doesn't mean I want to lie about my feelings for another 3 years. So I decided to give you an engagement ring. That might be a shameful reason as a man. Maybe it's shameful to get engaged because I want you to wait, since I can't support my work and a wife at the same time yet. But I will definitely.
Thank you very much. I understand that to you, George-san, an engagement ring means something different than one of many presents you'd give to a lover.
Of course it's different. An engagement ring isn't a simple accessory. It's an oath between lovers, a noble promise left in the form of a ring.
So, if we were to get married right away, it'd be completely meaningless, right?
Then it wouldn't be an engagement ring. I'd give it to you as a wedding ring. Either way, I'd still be giving you a ring.
So, it's a sold sign, like saying, this woman is mine. Nobody touch her.
Jesus, Shannon.
No, that's not what I...
You okay there?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to do an over-the-top cough.
Okay.
George knew that he was weak by nature. He knew he was a beta male. When he'd been captivated by Shannon and had sworn to become an excellent man, he'd also sworn to throw away that weak part of himself. So even if he had to be blunt about it, he chose to answer a little roughly. He was sure that doing so would bolster and reassure Shannon. No, that may be true. Sayo, I'll make you my wife. I
That voice,
give
every
anyone
time,
else.
interruption for a minute. Every time you break out that voice, I have to like hold myself back from not laughing and from laughing.
I'll make you mine alone, so no one will lay a hand on you. That's what this ring is, without a doubt.
Thank you very much, George-san. I'm sorry.
So, I can just imagine, like, thank you, I think.
I'm truly happy.
Then, George-san, if it was decided by fate that this engagement ring, that this promise could never be fulfilled, would you still give it to me? Shannon tried to ask that, but she swallowed her words. Because George had already spoken the answer. George said it. He said that to him, an engagement ring was infinitely similar to a wedding ring. Therefore, accepting George's ring had a significance far more sacred than a promise to marry.
So, I'll stop calling this an engagement ring. From now on, this isn't an engagement.
It's a wedding ring.
Is that really okay? Is it okay to, just proclaim that we're married without even God's blessing?
Yeah! It's enough to tell Godfather and Mother about it afterwards. We'll tell them all that we've been married. No one will be unable to do it.
George-san.
Did you not know I'm an ordained minister?
I don't think you can officiate your own wedding.
Hold on. Can you officiate your own wedding? It doesn't... I'm not getting a yes or a no.
That's interesting.
Self-solemnization, which sounds like some sort of kink. It's just a wedding ceremony that you do yourself.
Okay.
Just you and your partner, not no like witness or anything.
Yep.
There's some. There's. It apparently, it's, at least in the United States, it's different in every state.
Because everything is.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I actually am an ordained minister because it's shockingly easy to be an ordained minister. So watch out. I can marry you to anyone at any time, and then you'll be married in the eyes of the Lord.
I don't think that's how it works.
I think
okay.
That's how it works.
Pretty sure you have to consent.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm not saying this because of a momentary emotion. I'm not just looking at how you are now. I'm looking at the you of tomorrow, of the next day. I'm even gazing at you as you'll be in old age in the future as I say this.
You're always talking about that, George-san. About how you want to enjoy your old age slowly, surrounded by healthy children and grandchildren.
Yeah! At that time, an older you will be beside me. That is what I expect. No, what I foresee. Yeah, because that day will surely come.
Will it surely come?
Yeah, surely, definitely. And this ring proves it without words.
Please, show me.
Huh? Ah, ah, ah. Here it is.
George, thinking he was being told to show her the ring, hurriedly took out the ring box. Even though he had practiced so much, he hadn't been able to do it cool. To do it cool. But Shannon wasn't looking at that. In her straight and direct gaze were vague tears and a smile. She focused her eyes on George's eyes. No, on something she could see behind his eyes.
Please, show me that future.
Yeah, I'll show you, surely. I promise it. And not just until old age, after we die too. Even when we become spirits, we'll always, always be together.
Shannon wiped away her tears and took the ring box. Inside was a diamond ring worthy of blessing the two of them. George said the line that he'd practiced over and over again inside his head.
I want you to put on this ring on whatever finger you like and have that be your answer. So by tomorrow morning.
Ah! New drawing! Shannon smiled, took the ring, and with a completely natural movement, put it on the ring finger of her left hand. Wouldn't she just accidentally put it on, like, the wrong finger? It's just like, oh wait, shit, sorry! It really had looked like such a natural, ordinary movement. And for a while, George was stunned.
Wow, she's so good at putting on rings.
Damn!
This is my answer, George-san.
Shannon! No! Sayo!
Even when we become spirits, we'll always, always be together, George-san.
Damn, still calling him George-san when they're engaged. There was no blessing from God, no pastor to witness, nothing. But the two who were married proclaimed it. Those two souls were joined here today. Alright, and that is where we're going to end it. That is where we're gonna. God damn it. That is where. Okay. That is where we're going to end it. Alright.
Love this song.
It is a good song. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Umineko. Well, I accidentally. Sometimes I do that. Yume Nikki and Umineko just are so way too similar, and my head just kind of replaces some of the syllables every now and then. But thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us for next time. For reals this time. I'm pretty sure next time is when shit's gonna get real. Alright, bye.